Say bye, Gigi. Okay? See you soon. See you soon, Jing Jing. Let's see how cold it is out there. Out there. Out of the building. Do I have any mail? Probably most likely not. I'm gonna go the outside of the building now, see how cold it actually is. Cold it is, or it isn't so cold after all. Minus 11 it said, but feels like minus 15 with the windshield factoring that. Doesn't feel cold at all. I'm not wearing a hat, I'm not wearing gloves. Who lives there? Anybody home? Look at that mountain of snow. Under all that snow is the grass. Sometimes I cut across here to get to the parking lot if I need to get to the parking lot. So I park my car indoors. This is the visitor parking of our building, so one car. And this, you get a fine if your car gets towed away, if you're unauthorized to park here. That's pretty much it. I'm gonna go for a walk here. So the days of Valentine's Day, not doing anything special, not doing anything different. I guess at the end of the day, bottom line, Valentine's is just a commercialization of a day, you know. It's like Christmas, sort of a reason to spend money, to buy objects that you don't really need, or buy presents that you don't really need. My head is beginning to get somewhat cold, and so are my hands. I could probably most likely go a fair distance if I were to be wearing my hat and my gloves. It's my hands that are beginning to complain a bit, beginning to freeze. So it's anywhere between minus 11 Celsius and minus 15 Celsius. That's negative to those outside of the country, and you know what country I'm talking about. So it ain't easy. It ain't easy living here in the winter. Much rather be in a tropical country, that's for sure. There's no doubt about that. I guess I'm making this video because I haven't made a video in quite some time. Well, I've made a couple of videos this weekend actually. But one was with the helicopter, with the Blade 70S, the micro helicopter. I have two of those helis right now. The first one I bought was almost 2 years ago, and then the radio transmitter stopped functioning, stopped working. It actually, the on-off switch broke and I wouldn't switch back on anymore, and I couldn't fix that. So I had to buy a whole new helicopter. Although I could bind the transmitter from one to the other one, so I could fly the old helicopter with the transmitter that came with the new helicopter. It's quite easy to do. So that's one of the advantages of RC hobby, you know, as far as RC grade is concerned. So because it's also toy grade, obviously, and RC grade is much better in terms of being able to repair and use a transmitter from one to the other, or vice versa. Receivers, combined similar brands, as long as the signal protocol is the same, it should bind and it should work, because it's 2.4 gigahertz. Back in the day with the 27 megahertz, and it was 27 megahertz for radio control, there was 72 megahertz, there was 75 megahertz. And when we used to fly our seaplanes, we used to go to a specific field, a flying club, and we used to have to go to the board with all the frequencies and cover our frequency with a piece of plastic or whatever, in case there was somebody with the same frequency as your radio, so they wouldn't try to fly at the same time as you were flying. Otherwise they would start controlling your plane. So to avoid any problems, there was this type of organization. You always had to go to the board and check your frequency, see if somebody's not already flying on your frequency. And even if the person just were to turn on their transmitter, it caused problems for your plane if you were on the same frequency, obviously. So as always, you always had to double check that. Now we're in 2020, 2021 with 2.4 megahertz. I'm sorry, 2.4 gigahertz. You're already getting into the microwaves here. There isn't so much of a problem when it comes to radio interference or radio glitches, so that's kind of something of the past. But anyways, yeah. So any model that's hobby grade, whether it be an RC plane, a helicopter, or a RC car, you can always interchange the parts. Parts are readily available. They're much more robust than RC toy grade hop-up parts. More expensive, but there's a lot more things you can do with hobby grade stuff. So toy grade is much cheaper, of course, but it doesn't last as long, and you can't repair it as easily as hobby grade. So that's pretty much it for now. I don't usually talk this much while I'm walking, so I'm kind of not out of breath, but it's kind of difficult for me to continue the conversation, the self-conversation. So yeah, I also have a foam plane that I bought in the beginning of November. I haven't flown that yet because it's been too cold. It's ready to fly, but I can't do it. Weather permitting, maybe in the springtime when everything melts and there's almost no wind.